Attack on Titan has some of the best writing and storytelling of our generation and is the king of emotions. Throughout its runtime, it plays around with a lot of different genres and vibes. At any given moment while watching this show, you need to be okay with scenes of extreme burning love, seething hatred, disgust, excitement, horror, lust, and pretty much everything else on the spectrum too. Today, I'm going to be taking a deep dive into my personal 10 favorite moments in all of Attack on Titan. The further you watch into Season 4, the more and more you know something is about to go down at this campsite where Zeke is being babysat by Levi. Finding out the soldiers guarding Zeke had been drinking the tainted wine was the final nail in the coffin, and even though the audience knew exactly what was going to happen, this scene still catches me off guard. God, just hearing Zeke's infamous followed by Levi's little as Zeke sprints as far away from Levi as he can, as fast as he can.
My God! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm!
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Now, I love the AOT manga, but the anime will always be my personal preferred method of enjoyment, and there's one major reason why. The Attack on Titan score is one of the most fantastic musical compositions of all time. When Levi is forced to slay his comrades who Zeke titanized, Erwin's theme plays, almost as a reference to how Erwin had to kill his own men for the greater good. Levi is still carrying Erwin with him inside, and we don't get that through an exposition monologue, we get it through the music. Also, it's great how Kenny's theme has inadvertently become Levi's theme. K21 is a great song, and I love that it plays during this fight. And by the way, if you're one of the losers that hates that rap music is in Attack on Titan, first of all, this song has been in the show for years, and second, this show has had orchestral music, rock power ballad type shit, dubstep and EDM, and a hell of a lot more. I'm basically ranting at this point, but a few other things this fight gets absolutely perfect is Levi's deadpan and empty expression right before he has to slay all of his comrades, Zeke hardening his nape so he doesn't get immediately one-tapped like he has twice before, and this scene also gifted us with the most badass Levi Ackerman quote of all time.
What gave you the idea that you could escape from me?
Zeke might be a beast titan, but between the two, Levi is definitely the beast. Of all the emotions AOT uses to its advantage, the most interesting to me personally is terror. Attack on Titan at its core is a horror concept. The hell these characters go through feels so real, and I have zero hesitation in saying that the most horrifying thing in this entire story is the Beast Titan, and more specifically, what the Beast Titan did to Mike Zacharias. Mike to me easily has the most brutal, gruesome, and agonizing death of any character in this whole show, and that is saying a lot. His death was also an extremely subversive event for this story. I mean, I didn't see it coming. He's set up as being extremely powerful, second only in raw power to Captain Levi himself, so seeing him get violated in such a helpless state hurts like a bitch. When I first saw this, the Beast Titan speaking absolutely floored me, and Mike's fight or flight frozen reaction is a perfect surrogate for how this makes the audience feel. We were all shocked and hurt along with Mike, and if you think about the psychology going on here, this gets even more scary and depressing somehow. You see, Mike was a level-headed individual, and you wouldn't really expect him to act this way, but his reaction can also be chalked up to him realizing before anybody else truly what they were up against. You see, the Beast Titan can't just talk, he speaks well, rationally and intelligently. Mike was the first of our characters to hear this and truly stomach the weight that this is all much bigger than they think. That is what froze him. And the saddest part is, other than Zeke Yeager himself, no one knows what happened to Mike. Our characters never found out what truly went down on that fateful day, and maybe it's for the better that they don't know just how traumatizing his death really was. Coming in at the number 8 spot is the Scouts' advance to retrieve Eren, led by Erwin Smith. This moment right here is where we all realize that Erwin not only is the best character in the show, but maybe one of the best fictional characters of our generation. First off, you don't need me to tell you that Erwin Smith is the best leader of all time. You already know that. Erwin could literally convince me to do anything. He could ask me to lend him my strength by putting a toothpick under my toenail and kicking a wall as hard as I can, and I would salute him. This scene starts off normal with Erwin doing what he does best, which is rallying the spirits of his men through the horrifying hardships they face on the battlefield. But during this charge, something a little unexpected happens. Now this happening throws a huge wrench in the works here for the scouts, as I reckon it's going to be pretty hard for the soldiers to stay focused and determined with their mission without their leader. But the fearless commander has got it under control, as we can see.
I should advance, goddammit! Erwin's right in front of you! Do not falter!
But get this absolute Chad isn't done yet. Oh no. Just inspiring all the troops to follow through is not valuable and badass enough. Erwin somehow got completely free of this Titan's grasp, gets back on his horse, rides through the pasture of death right here, and then frees Eren his damn self. He uses his 3DMG with one arm, slices Bertholdt open, and then lands back on his horse after giving Bertholdt the nastiest death stare of all time. This dude just MLG horsed and we're supposed to pretend like he doesn't deserve all 10 spots just to himself? Please. Just edging out Erwin's charge is the climax of this little excursion Erwin was leading that day in the first place, the Smiling Titan confrontation. There's a lot to unpack here, so I'll try my best to go through it rather quickly, but this is easily one of the most emotional and tender moments in this entire Odyssey. Jumping right into it, fate aligned the stars and made it so that Eren, Mikasa, and Hannes are all face to face with the Titan that ate Eren's mother, putting all of this into motion for our main characters. Eren sees this as a perfect opportunity to get revenge and finally settle this debt he owes his mother, but he can't bring himself to transform, and Hannes gets himself killed trying to protect the two and avenge the woman he wasn't able to save all those years ago. Eren suddenly recalls his mother's death and how Hannes told him that there was nothing he could have done because he's just a weak little kid. He starts to laugh hysterically as he fully breaks down, exclaiming that he's still the exact same worthless child and that nothing has changed. Eren wants to be that plucky shonen hero who saves the day from bad guys so bad, but the world he lives in is unfortunately never that black and white and almost nothing goes to plan. It's crushing to see Eren so defeated. Mikasa consoles Eren in what she believes to be their final moments and thanks him for everything he's done for her in an extremely touching scene. She thanks him for saving her, for standing by her side, and for always being there to wrap his scarf around her. Eren is apparently an even bigger idiot than Connie here by missing his opportunity to kiss the best girl, but I digress. Eren pulls himself together and vows to always be there for her and to wrap her scarf. In one final act of rage and desperation fueled by these two characters' love for each other, Eren punches the Smiling Titan and in a strange turn of events and an extremely lucky coincidence manages to use the Founding Titan's abilities for the first time. So to quickly summarize, in just one short scene we saw a beloved character meet their end in a moving and poetic way, a tender and raw interaction between two characters that was long overdue, new questions to be answered, and the usage of fate and luck which are present in almost every scene of this biblical tale of monsters and mystery. In my opinion, those are some tasty ass ingredients for an amazing scene. When Mappa stepped in for WIT for animating Season 4, a lot of people were very nervous, and scenes like Levi versus Kenny are why people were scared. WIT was so good at these beautiful shots with so many moving parts. They were the undisputed kings of anything that had to do with the 3DMG. I mean, just look at this clip. Thank you for the appropriate reaction, sir, because that was goddamn incredible. As someone who's into art, these scenes kind of make me cringe a little bit thinking about how many weeks upon weeks of work they must have taken. But enough about the presentation, okay? Let's get into the real meat and potatoes of why this is here. One of the things that I cherish about this show so much is that since any character could die at literally any moment, you really get lost in everything that happens because it could mean the end for any of them. I mean, we know Isayama isn't afraid to just kill some people just because he's fucking bored or something, but Levi Ackerman is quite literally built different. He's humanity's strongest soldier, an unstoppable force. His character at the beginning was always a little bit less emotional to me because nothing can kill Captain Levi. Nothing can even get close until this scene. Levi is fighting within an inch of his life right here. If Levi is an unstoppable force, then Kenny is an immovable object. Their standoff in the bar is what dreams are made of. And also the scene gave us gang shit Armin, and that definitely gives it some more cred. Small side tangent here, but Armin killing this lady to save Jean's life is one of the biggest defining moments of Armin's life, and it doesn't get talked about, like, at all. The bad guy is no longer these big unfeeling creatures we're objectively morally superior to. We have to kill human beings now. That realization destroyed Armin, and taking a human life was something he never wanted to have to do. Powerful stuff, man. So Mike's death scene taught us Hajime Isayama is fantastic at writing horror. The confrontation with the Smiling Titan showed us that he will also hit as many emotional beats as he can while doing it. So what's the takeaway of this next scene I'm going to talk about? It's Isayama's gift to this world, his impeccable ability to create an insane amount of tension. The whole episode leading up to this handshake is superb and keeps building up further and further. You know something is going to happen. It's like Isayama is sitting next to you in a movie theater with a balloon and he's blowing it up further and further until it pops. On top of being tense as hell, the scene is also a total roller coaster of emotions. It starts with you thinking Eren is the good guy, because of course he is, he's the main character. But then Willie Tybur reveals to the audience that Eren has the power to cause the rumbling and raise the world. Holy shit, maybe Eren is actually the bad guy after all. But then Eren sympathizes with Reiner. He tells him that they are one and the same, a child way over their head. But Reiner is too far gone and he breaks down. He says that this is all his own fault and that he needs to pay for what's happening to the world. The tension around this scene gets tighter and tighter, like it's being constricted and it's about to explode. The soldiers storming in the basement they're in, the world leaders cheering as Willie Tybur declares war on Paradis, and Eren telling Reiner that they are truly one and the same. But they aren't the same in the sense that they are tortured souls who didn't deserve this like Reiner thinks. What Eren truly means is that they're one and the same, as in they're both global terrorists who need to do what they need to do.
A declaration of war!
Terrorists win.
This placement might surprise some people, but in fourth place, I'm putting Eren's ceiling wall rose. I know this is pretty early on in the show, and there definitely are more super insane, hella smart mindfuck events in the show that I could have put on this list instead of this moment, but just hear me out, okay? This sounds like a strange thing to be bringing up right now, but minor characters really add so much to this show. That anxiety of losing any of these characters at any moment shines through whenever one of these smaller supportive characters are on screen. Characters like Nanaba, Gelgar, Moblit, Rico, Ian, Mitabi, and so on. Each of them have their own distinct characteristics, flaws, motivations, etc. They don't just feel like disposable cannon fodder to get decimated, they feel like real people in this universe with their own tragic and beautiful lives. The choice to show these characters this way was a genius decision, because when Eren is plugging Wall Rose, Ian, Mitabi, and a lot of their men sacrifice themselves for the greater good. Having these smaller characters that we are attached to really fills out the gaps in a way. All of these soldiers who constantly lay down their lives again and again for Eren have personalities and backstories of their own, and this entire scene does such a good job of carrying that weight. Not only is this the first Herculean feat that Eren pulls off in his Titan form, but this is kind of humanity's first ever W. All the Eldians knew at this point was loss and suffering, but this moment was humanity's first real, successful retaliation. Through all the pain and death is a glimmer of hope, and that's kind of what the whole first part of this show is about. Later in the show, we know that Eren is famous for his rants on freedom and what it truly means to be free in the first place, what it means to fight for that freedom, and how it's every person's birthright to achieve that. But this scene right here is where Eren realized all of that. This is his first real Tatakai moment. Seeing Eren schlep the rock into the hole, as Dot Pixis would say, is just so satisfying. This is the first time all of the death and destruction and loss was worth it. AOT is a mostly fast-paced show, apart from the odd episode here and there that just takes place in one room. This rather quick pace, which is honestly pretty rare in most anime, is better shown in the later seasons. Early on in the show, back before all the politics of the whole world, back when it was just about fighting big monsters and trying not to die, there was more time to mess around just a little bit with our characters. As the show went on, there was less and less time to have our characters be goofing around and just hanging out. That is why this conversation hits so hard. The conversation Levi's Special Operations Squad has about who will inherit Aaron's Titan once his time is up is just brutal. For starters, these characters have been through more hell than damn near any fictional characters I could think of. Aaron's body has been mutilated countless times, they've all lost most if not all of their loved ones, have dozens and dozens of near-death experiences, and have seen plenty of fucked up shit. So seeing them relax and be themselves is beautiful. Hearing Jean be cocky, Sasha be hungry, Connie be goofy, Armin be hopeful, Mikasa being protective, and Aaron loving his friends more than anything is just so reassuring. Because of this scene, we know those jovial teenagers we grew to love a decade ago are still in there. They discussed who should inherit Aaron's abilities after he passes in just 5 short years. Being the heroes they are, stuck in their own ways, they all volunteer to be the one to carry humanity's burden by wielding the Titan and shortening their life. They bicker in what is in my opinion some of the best dialogue in the whole show, and it ends with them blushing in silence, smiling, because Aaron tells them that none of them will inherit his Titan because he wants his friends to live long, full, happy lives. Plus it gave us this line, so there's no way it doesn't belong on this list.
You brats got taller. It's like you're sprouting up just to spite me.
Enough of this. Let's end it.
Remember when I said that Mike had the most brutal pain inflicted upon him? Well, this right here is a strong contender for that title as well. I won't really get into the whole Armin versus Erwin argument here and who I think should have been revived because that's a topic for another day. But no matter what side you're on, you still know this scene of Armins Sacrifice was goddamn perfect. This moment perfectly shows the best parts of Armin's character: his hope, his willpower, and his genius. After coming up with arguably the only possible way they could defeat Berthold in like a minute or two, he immediately acts upon this plan in the biggest act of bravery he's ever pulled. Think of how Armin started off this series, a timid and weak pushover who refused to fight back. Now, he still isn't fighting back, but he's anything but weak. In a display of godlike willpower, he anchors his 3D MG to the Colossal Titan's teeth, and he hangs on for dear life while being scorched to death to buy Aaron the time he needs to harden and secure the kill. Armin hung in there, his hair searing away and his skin melting off his bones because he entrusted Aaron with the dream of seeing the sea. Similar to how Erwin trusted Levi with his dream. It's poetic. The music builds and builds, and by the time that Armin's body finally gives out, Aaron delivers the most satisfying kill of all of Attack on Titan.
Gotcha!
Now before I reveal what my number 1 spot is, I want to do a quick honorable mentions lightning round because there's no way I'm getting through this video without bringing up these moments. Think of these as spots number 20 to number 11.
If I agree to talk, would you all be willing to lay down and die?
This is how we of the Nine use our power.
But we're gonna finish it.
Need to find his allies!
I'm sure you can do it.
want me to explode?
Yes! That's what I've been waiting for!
Okay, I'll try.
Attack on Titan is a mysterious story that thrives on intrigue. While watching, you'll ask yourself about where the story is going, and as soon as you get one answer, that answer unravels 6 more questions. And arguably one of the biggest mysteries in the entire show was the true identities of the Armored Titan and Colossal Titan. Now, based on the show so far, you would assume the reveal of such a big secret would be done in a ceremonious and theatrical way, so
I'm the Armored Titan. He's the Colossal.
If you weren't paying attention, you could literally miss one of the biggest reveals in anime history. I've watched this show with friends and I've had them not even notice. Reiner is such a complex and well-written character, and this moment isn't grand because it isn't some big mastermind villain's plan. It's the momentary lapse of sanity of a man who was forced into something he was not ready for. When I first saw this, I was floored, and on repeat viewings, it cuts way deeper. Knowing Reiner and Berthold's story adds so much weight to this scene. The two of them were legitimately like big brothers to Armin and Eren, and even though the fate was twisted to be this way, this scene hurts so bad because these boys really did love each other. On top of the excellent storytelling, I'm gonna sneeze. I'm literally gonna sneeze. I'm gonna sneeze right now. You're gonna listen to me sneeze. This scene also ended up here because of the phenomenal music choice, Tarantino levels of build-up and tension, all for it to explode into one of the most badass and emotionally charged fights of the entire series. It encapsulates everything that makes Attack on Titan what it is: mystery, intrigue, tension, pain, betrayal, horror, badassery. It's perfection.
Right. Damn you! You traitors!
Thank you for watching. I apologize for not saying bless me earlier when I sneezed. I'm usually not that rude. I just wanted to get this video up as fast as I could. If this is your first video of mine, hello, welcome to my channel. And by the way, it's pronounced Jallomoth.